Welcome to the Midday Meltdown Party Over Here with J&J Video.
When we're happy and all in love with ourselves, we can't be bothered with the bullshit, our own or other people's. Imagine what our world would be like if everyone loved themselves so much that they weren't threatened by other people's opinions or skin colors.
You have to tap into your inner badass, okay? Because we all have that badass inside of us. If you're not living vicariously through your badass, you are letting life go by. And let me tell you. How is my fam doing today? You guys are amazingly awesome. All of you that are in the chat, thank you so much for coming to the ear party. I love you guys. Get my mic up a little bit so I'm not screaming in your ears. We got Self-Made Sicario over there. Uncle Vern, what's up, sweetheart? We got Vegan Knowledge JJ. What's up, love of my life? Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. We have been listening to You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, and she has been basically getting me through this week. I've been listening to it, in my sleep, because when you want to make something a habit or when you want to ingrain something in your subconscious mind, it helps for you to listen to it overnight while you're sleeping. It's no different than those of you that are familiar with the Matrix than Neo plugging in and reprogramming himself how to do jujitsu, or Trinity being plugged in and learning in a matter of moments how to fly a helicopter. It's the same. The human brain works the same way. You plug in, throw a headset in that's comfortable for you, and while you're sleeping, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind when you're listening to something. It behooves you to put on something that's going to train your ass how to do well, how to feel good, okay? How to lose weight, whatever it is you want to accomplish. That's the way to program your brain to get it done. You can't do it during the daytime while you're wide awake, because guess why? Your conscious mind is a gatekeeper. And those of you that have worked in corporate America, and even some of you who haven't worked in corporate America, you know what a gatekeeper is. Come on. It's not rocket science. It's somebody who blocks you from getting through to the source that you want to get to. Well, your source, your link to the source is your subconscious mind, because that is the source. And the only way to get to it is to get by the gatekeeper. When you're wide awake, the gatekeeper is in full effect, babe. I'm giving you some gem here. So you have to do it when you're asleep. When your conscious mind is asleep, your subconscious mind isn't. It is awake, taking things in like a sponge 24/7. So the only way to reprogram it, to stop thinking crazy shit and affecting your judgments throughout the day, is to reprogram it. Only way you can do that is when you're sleeping. So I've been listening to Jen. That I can say with because I suffered for many years with PTSD from being a cancer survivor. This is how I cured myself of that. So let's tie it all into that. I can tell you this with certainty because this is how I cured myself of PTSD from being a cancer survivor. I struggled with PTSD without realizing it for almost the past 10 years. And within the past 2 or 3 years, I have almost completely cured myself of the mental hell that I was unknowingly putting myself through by reprogramming myself, listening to affirmations at night while I sleep. The link that I dropped in the chat yesterday, Dauchsy Meditations, I don't know if any of you went to it. I will drop it again today while we're listening to the book. Helped me do that. He has a host of sleep meditations that you can listen to while you're sleeping to reprogram yourself. So, do yourself a favor, get into that. If it's something that you want to accomplish, or if it's just you want to get out of the mental prison that you seem to be in, if you're in one, and if not, God bless you, good for you. But most of us are fucked, excuse my French, and we need some help. So that's a way to do it. Just something I picked up and I figured I'd pass it on. So Jen's You Are a Badass, Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass is one of those books that I listen to, and I've been having fun listening to it because she's got a very no nonsense, no holds barred, in your face approach to what she's talking about. So without further ado, I'm not going to talk you to death because I want to get through this book because I got another one that you guys are going to love called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Wait till you hear that. Listen, I'm challenging you to, when we start listening to that book, I need somebody to count how many times they say the word fuck in that book. Woo! I'm telling you guys are going to enjoy it. If you're enjoying this, you are really going to enjoy that as well. So we're going to go ahead and get Jen Sincero started and pick up roughly where we left off yesterday. I'm at it because I want us to get through this. Thank you all. Don't forget, before we get into the book, to hit that like button. Take your shoes off, just like you do in the Lit House. Those of you who are new media family, you know what I'm talking about. Take your shoes off, sit back, grab yourself a cup of coffee, smoke, midday liquid lunch, if that's what you do. Hey, I don't judge. Who am I? So do what you do, get comfortable. Let's kick back and get some gems.
Yawn. I'm not talking about being an irresponsible jerk or doing the same things we did when we were younger, but I am talking about continuously living our dreams, no matter what stage of life we're in, instead of settling for mediocrity because we don't believe anything else is available or appropriate. We only get to be in our bodies for a limited time. Why not celebrate the journey instead of merely writing it out until it's over? We're still allowed to dream. Dreams are still available to us. But as we move through life, we must make the conscious effort to overcome whatever judgments we have, as well as kick all our fears from past experiences in the head and participate in our own badassery. Whatever that looks like for us.
I think I like that term.
We must focus on the positive instead of the list of negatives we've collected over time, and keep that focus regardless of what flies in our faces.
Facts.
And one of the best ways to do this is by reconnecting with our inner kids. I know how unacceptably dorky this may sound, but just stay with me here. Even though you're now most likely turned on by different things than you were as a youngster, you can still learn a lot from how you went about life in the old days. So think back. Was there ever a time where you felt totally in your groove? Where you created and did stuff just because it was fun without worrying about the outcome? Where you couldn't wait to wake up in the morning and go do your thing? This could mean anything from when you were a little kid running around with a maxi pad stuck to your eye pretending to be a pirate, to your senior year in high school when you got voted class clown for repeatedly charming your way past the ladies in the front office to make fake announcements over the loudspeaker, to that summer you learned to play the guitar without looking at your hands. When were you most turned on by life? And if you have yet to feel this way, stay tuned. And what can you learn from those experiences? For me, one of the most exciting and on-purpose times in my life was when I was a singer and guitarist in a band called Crotch. I use the terms singer, guitarist, and band all very loosely because we in Crotch weren't concerned with things like learning to play our instruments or practicing or any of that snooty musicianship crap. We had bigger fish to fry, like talking in loud voices about our band, and checking ourselves out in plate glass windows as we walked by with guitars strapped to our backs. Electric ones. I started crotch with this chick from work named Paula, who'd never picked up a guitar in her life either, and who was as incapable of embracing her feminine side as I was. Paula and I were the kind of young ladies who prided ourselves on the wattage of our stereo equipment, our firm handshakes, and our ability to drink anyone in the room under the table. The testosterone-fueled chip on my shoulder came from a high school career spent futilely awaiting a timely puberty while standing a good foot taller than everyone on earth, all the boys at my high school included. None of them ever asked me out, but I could make them laugh and kick their asses at basketball. So rather than fail seducing them, I simply picked them. Paula's issues were more homicidal in nature. She was the kind of angry found in highly intelligent women who develop the body of a Playboy bunny by the age of 13 and are forced to grow up in the deep, redneck South. Within the first few months of starting the band, she traded in her long raven locks for a fire engine red buzz cut and covered her arms and back with tattoos of flames and dragons. We decided that as a tough one, she should play bass, while I, the desperate for attention one, would guitar, and that my little brother Stephen, the malleable one, would play drums. Only until we find another drummer, I promised him, as I attempted to plug my guitar into the wrong part of my amp. Stephen has played the drums since he was 5, and is the kind of younger brother every bossy older sister dreams of. Talented and endlessly enthusiastic, with a very high threshold for pain.
I've been playing since I was 7.
The great tragedy of crotch was that underneath our sneers and our bravado, we were 2 sweet girls who desperately wanted boyfriends. But we had issues that we decided were best worked out while drunk, and sometimes naked, on stage.
Wow, okay. Drunk and naked. Naked and Afraid. You guys ever seen that show? That's a crazy show. How about them naming their band Crotch? No. That's definitely very interesting. Yeah, that's definitely very interesting.
Paula and I, baffled by our lack of gentleman, chose to express our disappointment by writing and singing songs, "Sew Me Up, I've Had Enough," and by yelling things into the microphone between songs that one evening would inspire an audience member to rush the stage holding a chair over his head with intent to beat us with it. In spite of ourselves, we quickly acquired quite the following. In less than a year's time, we also wrote, produced, directed, and starred in a film about the record industry. Wrote, directed, and starred in a music video that got on national television. Recorded an EP, got a demo deal with Columbia Records, and even learned a couple more chords. And we did it all with full-time corporate jobs and no idea what the hell we were doing. It was fun with a capital F. There's nothing as unstoppable as a freight train of fuck yeah. If you've ever known what it's like to be in your groove and are having trouble finding your way right now, think back to your attitude and what your priorities were when you were totally lit up about life, and use them to help give you the clarity and the kick in the rear end you need now. Here are some nuggets of wisdom I gleaned from the crotch days that I still find useful. 1. Just see what you can get away with. Life is ridiculous. It so seriously is. We have no freaking idea what we're even doing here, spinning around on this globe in the middle of this solar system with who the hell knows what out there beyond it.
Wow, she sounds
Making
like
a
Jen.
big fat deal out of anything is absurd. It makes much more sense to go after life with a sense of why not instead of a furrowed brow. One of them is
You know, that actually a very good point. She reminds me of my wife so much, and the fact that they're both Jen. I don't know what it is about Jen. But, Jen always reminds me, just when you think you have a handle on reality, remember what is real. We're sitting here, what's normal? Because if you don't think magic exists and it's not a real thing, how the hell are we suspended in midair, spinning in the universe, revolving around a big ass ball of fire? That's some sci-fi shit, but it's reality. Think about it.
Make my motto. I just want to see what I can get away with. It takes all the pressure off, punk rock attitude in, and reminds me that life is but a game. Yes, we have bigger responsibilities and more pressure as adults, but come on, folks. I guarantee you there are countless people with way more to whine about out there than you who are totally kicking ass because they decided to go for it instead of sitting around in the wet pit of their own
compete
excuses.
with the music.
Take a new approach to what
Damn
you're doing
musicians.
and try this on. I just want to see if I can start my own successful business. I just want to see if I can get myself out of debt and make $100,000 more this year.
Let's just see.
I just want to see if I can lose 100 pounds. I just want to see if I can sell one of my
Hey, I'm
paintings
on
for
that
50
one.
grand.
I don't
just
need to
want
lose
to see if I
100.
can meet my soulmate. Take the pressure off and get back in on the adventure.
Yep.
2, lose track of time. Have you ever been doing something and suddenly realized that hours have gone by without you noticing?
Yep.
What does that for you? And how often during your day does this happen? When you're so lost in what you're doing that you lose all sense of time, you have officially entered the vortex.
I'm doing
You want to
it.
get your ass in there as much as possible. So look at your life and figure out how you can make that happen. First, figure out the things you get lost in your business and your personal life. Then figure out how you can be doing more of those things more of the time. Hire someone, no excuses.
Ooze
and
of
delegate the
kudos. I
tasks
see
hate doing.
you.
Partner up with
Welcome.
someone who's good at and enjoys doing the things you're not that into. You can be freed up to do more of what you want. If you have to, make massive changes in your business and your personal life to include more you love. Figure it out. Don't just hand your life over to your circumstances like a little wuss.
I know that's
You can
right.
take your life wherever you want it to go. So grab it by its nether regions and make doing the things you love a priority.
Grab it by the balls, baby.
3,
Talk to him, Jen.
keep being the beginner. One of the best things about starting a band when you have no idea how to play your instrument is that you don't care if you stink because you already know you do.
There you go.
Then, once you learn how to play, you get all serious. You become overly critical and hard on yourself, and you don't let yourself have nearly as much fun anymore. The trick is to let the beginner live alongside the expert, instead of pretending you don't know who she is when she tries to sit with you and your new, cooler, more experienced in the cafeteria. The beginner may be an idiot, but she knows how to party. And if you don't let her play with you anymore, things risk getting rather drool around here. So hone your skills, take your craft seriously, learn what you need to learn, invest in yourself, practice your ass off, fall down, get up, keep going, get really, 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 really good at what you do, but don't lose the fun in the process. Because, what's the point of doing all that work then? The only thing you need to do is do the very best you can. Once you've done that, the only other thing that matters is that you enjoy yourself. 4, love yourself. Birds of happiness will be your permanent backups. Chapter 13, give and let give. It's one of the beautiful compensations in this life that no one can sincerely try to help another without helping himself. Ralph Waldo Emerson, American poet, essayist, visionary, giver. One day while driving somewhere with my family, we stopped off at a store along the way and told my niece, then 5 years old, that she could get herself a little something. She came up to the register with a 6-pack of orange Tic Tacs and charmed her way into getting the whole thing instead of being told to put it back and just buy one. So we get back in the car and I ask her if I can have a pack. My only intent to teach the greedy little piglet a thing or two about sharing. Of course, she says and hands it over. She then asks, in her itty-bitty 5-year-old voice, my brother and my mom want one too, and hands them over. My niece then takes her remaining 3 packs and places them on the seat next to her in a pile saying, and when we get home, this one's for my brother, this one's for my sister, this one's for my mom. Then she sits there with none like herself and smiles, more excited to give them away than she was when she was told she could buy them for herself. I shot a confused look at my brother, Stephen, her father, and he mouthed,
that deserves a pause. Did you hear what just happened there? Do you remember being like that? I don't know if I was ever quite that generous, but before we got greedy and before everything mattered so much and we were all stressed out about, no, I can't afford to give nothing because I don't have nothing. Wow. That just took me back. I don't know about you guys, but that just took me back. It's cool when you can let go. And you would be surprised what comes to you when you let go. The universe knows what you need. Put it out there. And then let go and trust that it's going to come to you. It works. She's right.
freak! When Stephen and I were her age, we cherished nothing more than the tortured cries of the other. He set my gerbils free in the backyard. I stole his Halloween candy and ate it, piece by piece, sitting on his chest while he screamed. Who was this saintly creature in the backseat, and where did she learn that? As my niece so clearly understood, giving is one of our greatest joys. It's also one of the most fearless and powerful gestures there is. When we trust that we live in an abundant universe and allow ourselves to give freely, we raise our frequency, strengthen our faith, awesome, thereby putting ourselves in flow and the position to receive abundant amounts in return.
I'm telling you.
When we're in fear, we hold on to what we've got because we don't trust that there's more. We pinch off the energy, we're scared to share, and we focus on and create more of the very thing we're hoping to avoid.
Gee, where did we just hear that?
Which is lack. We live in a universe of give and receive, breathe and exhale, live and die, suck and awesome. Each side depends on the other, and each is relative to the other. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So the more you give, the more you receive, and vice versa. You may be thinking, oh, that's so not true. I know some bitches who do nothing but take and haven't given a damn thing to anybody ever. But receiving has a different energy than selfishly taking, just as smothering has a different energy than giving. Smothering and taking are fear-based and needy. Giving and receiving are full of gratitude and surrendering to the flow. I know someone who has multiple sclerosis who was told by a mentor to give away 29 things for 29 days as part of her cure. She blew it off for a while, but as her condition worsened, she finally decided to give it a try. First, she gave a phone call to a sick friend to see how she was doing. Then she slowly gave away something every day, and she almost instantly found herself more joyful and excited. By the 14th day, she was significantly better physically, her business started booming, and she went on to create a blog that started a movement with tens of thousands of followers who were also giving things away daily. Her blog ultimately led to a New York Times best-selling book called 29 Gifts. If you want to attract good feelings into your life, send awesomeness out to everyone around you. Here are some good ways to get in the give and take flow, yo. 1. If you haven't already, pick 1 or 2 causes that have real meaning to you and give to them every month. Give however much time or money you can, but do it consistently so it becomes a habit, so it becomes part of who you are. Even $5 a month counts. 2. Give one of your favorite things in the world away to someone who would totally love it. And if you can, do it without them knowing where it came from. 3. Leave $1 more than you normally would every time you tip. 4. If someone is snarky and mean, instead of sinking to their level and being snarky and mean back, up by giving them the love. 5. Smile, compliment, and crack people up as often as possible. 6. Say yes to invitations that you wouldn't normally say yes to because you hate to inconvenience the person offering. Take them up on it. Give them the opportunity to give to you. 7. Stop and feel in your body how great it feels when you give and receive. Raise your frequency and expect more good things to come your way. 8. Love yourself, and everybody benefits. Chapter 14, Gratitude, the gateway drug to awesomeness.
How fitting is it
a few weeks later, whilst
that chapter 14
to others who want to rise up
is gratitude. Oh wow, I just messed up.
It's a lot easier to illusion.
Okay, so I just took it back to the beginning, so I have no idea where we're at now. But I was just about to say thank you for the likes, guys. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I've got 5 people in the chat and 5 likes. I appreciate you guys so much, and I know that's going to build. The more we spread this, share it with your friends and family on all social media. Let's get together and let's heal each other. And Uncle Vern, yeah, I hope it worked, honey, with the smoking.
I don't have time to find a real parking spot, so I'll park in this loading zone. Oh, look at that. I just spent 3 hours I don't have getting my car out of the tow garage, another 2 getting lost on the way home, and 45 minutes complaining about it to my wife. I don't have time to clean my office. Oh, look at that. I just spent half an hour that I don't have looking for my phone that was buried beneath a pile of crap. Oh, and look at that. My phone is dead, which means I'm about to waste even more time I don't have looking for the damn charger, which might be under this pile of books over here, please, I hope. When we're forced to do something, suddenly the time is there, which means it's there all the time, but we've just chosen to limit ourselves by believing that it isn't. Ever notice how if you've got 6 months to do something, it'll take you 6 months to do it? But if you have a week, it'll take you a week? Once you understand that time, like the rest of your reality, is in your mind, you can make it work for you instead of being its slave. Here are some things you can do right now to start wrangling time into submission. Show some respect. If you want more time in your life, show time some respect. If you're constantly late, if you blow things off, or if you're a flake, you're not sending a message to the universe, or others, or yourself, that you value this precious time that you crave and are trying to create more of for yourself. You can create anything you desire, but you have to truly want it. If you act like time isn't important, that it's fully worth wasting and disrespecting, you're not in alignment with what you say you want, so you're going to have a hard time getting it.
Facts.
I mean, think of time as a person. Would you expect time to keep showing up for you if you constantly treated it like it was just some dumb thing that didn't matter? I should think not. If you're always late, start being early. If you constantly cancel or flake at your dates with people, get it together. Write down your appointments and keep them. Set your alarm on your cell phone to remind you to get ready. Early. Write things on the back of your hands. Keep your word if you say you're going to do something. It's not rocket science. If you want to have a good relationship with time, have a good relationship with time. Not only will this help you create more time in your own life, but you'll stop being one of those rude people who constantly wastes everyone else's. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. What do you find yourself doing instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing? Screwing around on Facebook? Answering emails? Eating even though you're not hungry? Once you know what your favorite distractions are, you can build up a good defense against them. Turn off the internet and phone while you're working. Make the kitchen off limits until you're done if you constantly find yourself standing in front of the refrigerator door in a stupor. We get into such bad habits that half the time we don't even realize what we're doing.
Facts.
Once you become aware of what your spots are, you can start to protect yourself against them. Chunk it down. There's nothing more deflating than looking at some giant task and wondering how you'll ever get it all done. So don't try and eat the whole elephant at once.
That's right.
Break it into bite-sized bits. For example.
Oh my God, no, she did not pull out one of my favorite phrases. If Jen is listening to this, she knows one of the things that I always say, and it's a motto that I have learned to live by. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you tackle a huge project? One piece of it at a time. Break it down to the ridiculous. You know, if you're trying to lose 100 pounds, you're not going to lose it all in one day. So focus. There was a guy that I heard on YouTube say he lost 100 pounds by simply breaking it down, losing 5 pounds every 2 weeks. No matter what he did, he didn't weigh in every day because you don't want to go through that mental roller coaster. He weighed in every 2 weeks, and as long as he was 5 pounds less than he was the previous 2 weeks, he made progress. Needless to say, it took him 6 months, but he lost 100 pounds. Took him a little more than that, actually, like a year. But he lost 100 pounds. Why? He broke it down. 5 pounds every 2 weeks. And when you think about it, it's really not that hard. That's a safe amount of weight to lose. If you're trying to lose weight, try that. 5 pounds every 2 weeks. As long as you're 5 pounds less. And shout out, rest in peace to young Dolph. I was freaking out over the news yesterday. So yeah, that was shout out to his family. All my prayers go out to young Dolph's family. Yeah, that was tragic. But I don't know what made me think about that, but I just was moved to do that in that moment. But yeah, break it down. Back to the lecture at hand.
Instead of walking around your entire house from one catastrophically messy room to the next, one wondering how you're ever going to do the whole gigantic thing and trying to figure out how you justify not doing it instead of trying to figure out how you're going to do it, break it down and just focus on one room at a time. Our brain can only handle so much information at once without exploding. So by looking at each task separately, the larger task suddenly becomes more manageable. Brains love chunks. Chunking it down works great for time too. For example, if you're working on designing a new website, instead of setting aside the entire day to work, decide that you'll work in hour-long chunks. During this time, you are unauthorized to get up to use the bathroom, get something to eat, check your texts, go online, etc. Once your 60 minutes is up, you can take a break and do whatever you want until your next 60-minute chunk.
That's a good idea.
We can do anything for 60 minutes. Our brains go into overwhelm when we try to do it all in one big block of time. 2.
You know, I get into working out like that. When you break it down like that and just set aside. What also helps is making sure that you kind of set aside the same time each day to do something like this stream, for example. You know, I know that somewhere in the vicinity of 11:30, I've been good the past couple days. I was a little late today, but if you guys got your Twitter and Instagram, but to her point, I should have been earlier like I was the past couple of days. So got to get on my game with that. But if you break something down every day at 9 o'clock, I was on my total gym and I was on there for a half an hour and then I go to the spinner. You know what I mean? And I put an hour in 5 days a week. Okay. And I was committed to that. You know, before I started fasting, it's hard to work out and fast if you plan on losing a lot of weight. I'm doing pretty good with the fasting self-made, by the way. I got to keep you posted on that. Mondays and Tuesdays are a thing now. I'm definitely keeping up with that. I want to try to do an extended fast, but she's right. Break it down in chunks. How did I fast for 20 days? If I had went into it thinking I'm going to not eat food for 20 days, I would have been like, hell no, a day at a time, man. And before I knew it, 20 days had gone by. You can do that. If there's a task that you're trying to accomplish, Uncle Vern, take that quitting smoking 1 day at a time, my brother, 1 hour at a time. And try to find something else to replace that thought process with. Get into something else that you know. And the problem with smoking, because I did a crazy thing, okay? I turned 30 and started smoking and smoked for 6 years and then stopped. First off, if I got through the first 30 years of my life without picking up a cigarette, what the hell made me pick it up at 30? But then I get it. I understand. For 6 years, I totally related. I smoked. And I smoked. I was getting up to a pack a day. So I smoked. There wasn't like a little occasional here and there. Oh, no. I got up to close to a pack a day. And there's people I know smoke 2 packs a day. So, but one day I was sitting in a cloud of smoke and realized I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to do it to my lungs. I didn't want to do it to the people around me. I didn't want to do it to my clothes. Okay. So I stopped and I was at the point where I was ready to stop. So I was literally able to stop cold turkey. It wasn't no breaking down, nothing with that. I just stopped doing it because I was getting tired of it as it was. And I'm like, what the hell did I start this shit for? But it served a purpose for that time. That also happens to be the time that I was in the middle of my marriage breaking up. So it served a purpose. And I use it. So for those of you who smoke and who struggle with, smoking, I get it. I totally get what you dig about it because I did it for a while and I told it helped out. And I did it at the traditional times. I smoked after I ate, hey, go out on the back. Take a quick puff, you know what I mean? Wake up and take a quick puff. Yeah, I get it. Jen smoked, and me already having quit by the time we met was helpful because I wasn't adding that layer of temptation there when she decided that she had enough. So, and God, I think she's been done now for about 10 years. So yeah, good job. So those of you who want to quit smoking, those of you who want to do anything, take it one step at a time.
There's too much to do. Ever notice that whenever you ask someone how they're doing, about 99% of the time, they say something like, good, really busy, but good. Busy has become the new fine, thanks. I mean, where's the fun in that? What kind of message does that send out to the world and ourselves? No wonder we all feel like we're living pinned beneath a giant cement slab of a to-do list. So yes, the first task is to watch your mouth. Stop talking about how busy you are. Focus on what you enjoy about what you do and the spaces in between the doing instead of feeling weighed down by it all. Decide that you live an awesome, relaxed life full of interesting projects that you love doing and communicate that to the world and yourself.
Speak it into
And then
existence.
go out and merrily do it.
Facts.
Get some help. If you're feeling totally confused and disorganized and don't know where to start or what to do next, get some outside perspective. A lot of times we're so tangled up in our own lives that we can't see something that's totally obvious to someone else. Ever spend some quality time searching for your glasses when they're sitting on your head? It's sort of like that. You could spend hours or days or months or forever trying to figure out how to redo your website or plotting out an exercise regimen or figuring out how to organize your office, when someone who isn't as buried alive by all the moving parts as you are can nail it right away. Get a new pair of eyeballs on the situation. And get someone who knows what they're doing, please. Don't get money advice from someone who's as broke as you are, or dating advice from the terminally single, or decide that someone's main qualifications for helping you is that they'll do it for free or trade. Working with a pro will save you time and money in the long run, because you won't have to spend time undoing or doing over whatever your wimpy first attempt was. Hire a business coach. Ask a friend who is totally together and successful to sit with you. Hire a clutter consultant. And if none of this makes sense for your particular situation, listen on. Get into reality. Sometimes we take on more than we can chew because we think we have to do it all, or that the world will fall apart if we don't do everything, or that we are bad, unlovable people if we don't do the 8 million things we're trying to do. So get very real with yourself here. Why are you doing all the things you're doing? Is it absolutely necessary that you do it all? Do you need to do it all at the same time? Can some of it wait? Be handed off to someone else? Dropped altogether? And if you must do it all, what would make it more enjoyable? Just like chunking down your time, chunking down your tasks takes you out of freak-out mode and puts things into manageable, bite-sized pieces. Here's how to break it down. Make your to-do list. Look at it. What needs to happen right now? What can wait? Put these on 2 separate lists. Hide the wait list. What are the big important tasks on the now list? What are the little piddly ones? Give the piddly ones to someone or save them for off hours and spend the day doing the most important tasks. It's called prioritizing, people. The shorter the list you're working with, the better you'll feel. And remember, you're never going to get it all done. So stop stressing about it. Do what you can do in joy instead of trying to do it all in misery. Delegate or die. One of the best ways to lighten your load is to stop being a control freak and or a tightwad and hire someone to help you, or delegate to those around you. You absolutely cannot grow a business, get promoted, or be a cool parent, and you absolutely will go gray before your time if you try and do every single little thing by yourself. Figure out which tasks you hate doing, or have always been bad at, or just don't have time to do, and find someone else to do them. I realize the reason you may not have done this yet is because you can't afford to hire someone, or because you think you're the best at it, or because you're a control freak. But like many other excuses, the answer is often there, you're just not looking. If you absolutely had to get some help, if it was a matter of life or death, what would you do? You could get an intern from your local college. You could get a friend or family member to help you out. You could hire someone for just 30 minutes a week and increase as you go. You could sell something to bring in the money to pay someone, or borrow it, or push yourself to make it. You could hand it over to human resources and make it their problem. You could ask your husband to empty the dishwasher and get your teenager to clean out the garage so you'd have more time. Help is all around us. Sometimes receiving it is simply a matter of looking at it differently or not giving up so easily. Deciding that you can't have something you need or want instantly cuts you off from the flow of manifesting it, as well as distances you from the part that lit you up about it in the first place. Once you think, I can't, the universe is like, alrighty then, no assistance needed here. See you later. Even if you have no idea where it's going to come from, stay open to the possibility of support presenting itself, and you may be surprised by what you can create and how much help you can get. Decide you must have it. Trust that it's available to you. Do everything you can to figure out a way to make it happen, and trust that how it's going to happen will be revealed. Remember that you are one. Put your priorities first. Don't check emails or voice messages or Facebook until you've gotten into your day and accomplished some of the tasks you want to do. Don't answer the phone or texts while you're busy. Other people's needs can occupy several lifetimes worth of our attention, and if you let them, they will. 3. I'm exhausted. The belief that taking time off will cause your entire life to collapse is not only unhealthy, but it's arrogant. The world will go on if you stop working, you see. If you don't take time off, your body will eventually put its foot down and make you sick. Bodies do it all the time. Stress is a leading cause of cancer, heart attacks, liver failure, stupid accidents, grouchiness, and suddenly not being able to breathe. Aside from the sickness factor, making time to do the things that inspire you should also be a priority because, what's the point of living life without them? Where's the fun in waking up at 85 and realizing you, quote unquote, couldn't find the time to enjoy yourself? What were you doing that was more important instead? This is not a luxury reserved for people who are richer, smarter, or less bogged down than you are. It's a luxury reserved for people who take the time to figure it out and choose to design a more fun-filled life. Use the tools in this chapter to make the time to get the rest you need and have the fun you want, so you can enjoy your precious life while you're still in possession of it. 4. Love yourself. You're doing an awesome job. Chapter 20. Fear is for suckers. We tiptoe through life, hoping to safely make it to death. Unknown. When I lived in New Mexico, a friend of mine took me to this cave she'd heard about up in the Jemez Mountains. It's more like a big hole in the ground, actually, she said, but I hear it's pretty cool. She didn't do a great job of selling it, especially when she got to the part about how we'd have to crawl around on all fours the whole time. But I wasn't really listening to her anyway. Caves don't interest me, no matter what size they are. I was only going for the road trip and the hike through the mountains and this great burger place that I discovered the last time I was up there. The cave was just a necessary part of the trip, like stopping for gas. After a glorious drive beneath the endless New Mexico sky and a beautiful hike on a red dirt path through a pinyon pine forest, we got to the cave. It was just as she described, a little hole at the base of a small hill, just big enough to crawl through. My friend tossed me a pair of knee pads and a flashlight and headed in. I followed her on my hands and knees, holding my flashlight with my teeth, and by the time we were about 10 minutes in, I felt like the entrance and my chances of ever seeing another burger again had vanished. If anything came at us from inside that cave, like, say, a monster, or if there was a flash flood, or an earthquake, or a rattlesnake, or a mosquito, we were totally screwed. The craggy white rock tunnel surrounding us had closed in so tightly that when my friend finally stopped crawling and leaned against the wall to sit, she had to do so with her head bent so far forward it looked like she was about to start chewing on her neck. What the hell was I doing there again? Okay, now for the cool part. You ready? She asked. Turn off your light. She clicked off her flashlight, motioning for me to do absolute darkest darkness of beyond pitch black, holy fucking shit, deepest, darkest blackness ever. I felt the tingling of hysteria begin to work its way up the back of my neck, and for the first time in my life, I completely understood fear. Because fear was the only thing I could see in that hole. It sat there, omnipresent, gigantic, all-consuming, staring me straight in the face, asking, So you gonna let me swallow you up or what? I realized that with absolutely zero effort, I could unravel into a claustrophobic freakout of such scratching, biting, high-pitched, crazy lady screaming colossalness that would leave both me and my friends staring at a wall, playing with our lips for weeks after they dragged our limp and bloodied bodies out of that cave. Or not. The choice was mine. To fear or not to fear, that is the question. I'm pleased to report that I decided to forego the fear frenzy in favor of calmly crawling back out of the cave to the land of sunshine, open spaces, and walking on two legs. I emerged not only with an alarming amount of sand in my ears and severe lockjaw from cracking the flashlight with my teeth, but with a new and profound understanding of the choice aspect of fear. It's so simple. Fear will always be there, poised and ready to wreak havoc. But we can choose whether we're going to engage with it or turn on the lights, drown it out, and crawl past it. I also realized that drowning it out is actually pretty easy. We've just been conditioned to believe otherwise. We've made being in fear a habit. We're pumped full of it as children, like sugar. Then as we grow, we continue to take in the bad news on TV and the horror in the papers and the violence in books and films and video games and all this junk that fills us to the brim with fear about our world. We're taught to play it safe and not take risks, and to caution everyone around us to follow suit. And it's become such an accepted part of our social conditioning that we don't even realize we're doing it. For example, what would your immediate response be to someone you really loved and deeply cared about if they said, whilst sputtering with excitement, any of the following things to you? I'm taking out a gigantic loan to build my dream business. I'm going to travel around the world for a year by myself. I'm quitting my secure full-time job to become an actor. I met the most incredible person last week and I'm totally in love. And we're getting married. I'm going skydiving. For the most part, when we watch someone take a leap of faith, our first reaction is to scream, "Look out!" We've not only made a habit out of smearing our fear and worry and doubt all over each other, but we pat ourselves on the backs for it because we believe that it shows how much we care. That's something worth being scared of, if you ask me. There's something called the crab effect. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl, and if, while they're all in there crawling all over each other, one of them tries to climb out, the rest of them will try to pull him back down instead of helping to push him out. No wonder they're called crabs.
Hey, I'm a Cancer. I resent that. But she's right. Before I became vegan, I used to eat crabs quite a bit, and we would watch this phenomenon happen when they were sitting in the barrels scraping and fighting to try to, jump over each other and everything. And it would be crazy to watch, you know what I mean? But as human beings, the pulling each other down, yeah, that's got to stop. It's not helping anyone for everyone to stay in the mud. We got to elevate each other. And that can be done in many, many, many different ways. It doesn't always have financially or materialistically. It can be done mentally. It can be done through emotional support. It can just be done just by being in somebody's corner and showing that you believe in them. So, yeah, elevate.
Imagine how different our world would be if we were less crab-like. If we were not only taught to really, truly believe in miracles.
I think I'll write a book.
I realize how dorky that sounds. But we're rewarded and supported instead of cautioned and aimed at for taking huge leaps into the unknown. We give a lot of lip service to the idea that anything is possible. And we all grow posters of kittens and baby seals on our walls that say, "Follow your dreams" on them. But should you actually do something radical, all the flashing lights and sirens go off. Know what I'm saying? Fear lives in the future. The feeling of being afraid is real, but the fear itself is all made up because it hasn't even happened yet. Death, going bankrupt, breaking a leg, forgetting our lines, getting yelled at for being late, getting rejected, etc. Most of the time, we have no guarantee that what we're going to even happen, and that if it does, that it's going to be scary. Take death, for example. For all we know, we leave our bodies and melt into a state of pure love and light and sparkly things and unicorns and bunnies and eternal orgasmic giddiness. We can be as sure of that as we can about anything else in the future. So why create all the drama? All it takes to turn the fear factor to be comfortable in instead of terrified of the unknown. And this is done through faith. It basically comes down to how you choose to go through life. Is your fear greater than your faith in the unknown and yourself? Or is your faith in the unknown and yourself greater than your fear? While you're making your choice, here's a mouthful from good old Helen Keller. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. There's that incredible moment when you decide, screw it, I'm going for it. And suddenly the thrill overtakes the fear. And then you're flying on the magic carpet. You're signing on the dotted line to buy the house, confronting your father, sliding the ring onto the finger, stepping onto the stage in front of thousands. I mean, talk about feeling alive. On the other side of your fear is your freedom. Here are some helpful ways to navigate your way through the jungle of fear. 1. View fear from your rearview mirror. Think about some radical thing you did in the past that literally gave you the shakes. It was so big and scary. And now look back on it. How terrifying is it now? Can you conjure up any scary feelings about it? Even a winky twinge of fear? Keep this in mind as you face each new challenge. No matter how intimidating your next great leap forward seems at the moment, it'll be a peak when you look back on it someday. So why wait? Why not look at it through Pipsy-colored glasses right now? Envision your challenges from the future. Look back on them from a place of victory, and they will lose much of their power to paralyze you. I always use my first trip to India as an example when I'm being a weenie about doing something that really scares me. It was one of my very first international solo trips, and even the experience with anything Indian up to that point pretty much consisted of a couple Ravi Shankar CDs and some chicken tikka masala. I figured it would be such a cool place to see. I wanted to go somewhere totally new and it's a reality that was as different from my own as possible. I thought going to India would be like going through the looking glass. So I buy my ticket and then it hits me. What the hell am I trying to prove? Why am I doing this? I'd never gone anywhere that far away by myself before, where I knew no one, didn't speak the language, had no idea what to expect. And I swear I built it up to become one of the most terrifying things I ever did in my life. Because I imagined myself as this tiny little dot, all the way on the other side of the globe, floating around in space where I was utterly anonymous, a ghost, a stranger, where I could disappear and nobody I loved would have any idea what happened to me. Poof. It got so bad that I started fantasizing about seriously injuring myself, or that my best friend would die so I wouldn't have to go. For some reason, just canceling my ticket never entered my mind. As luck would have it, however, nobody died, and I found myself being driven to the airport like I was going to my own funeral. The moment I stepped into the international terminal at the airport, however, I was swept up into a sea of colors and people from all over the world and movement and languages, and my terror was instantly bulldozed by excitement. I'm going to freaking India! When I got on the plane, I sat next to this gorgeous Indian woman wearing a pink sari and huge gold earrings who turned to me, smiled, and offered me an M&M. And that's when it really sank in. You're not alone, you ding-dong. You're surrounded by people. And one of the most basic common human needs is connection. I then proceeded to spend 2 months traveling around a country that is now by far one of my favorite places on this planet, and that sparked in me a love for travel that has completely changed my life. This and other examples from my own life keep proving to me over and over that our greatest are the greatest wastes of time. Face your fears with the truth that they're all in your mind. and they will lose their power over you. 2. Flip the fear. When you find yourself letting fear push you around, look at it from a different perspective. Start by breaking it down, finding what it is that you're really afraid of, and then flipping it around to make it work for you, not against you. Show it who's boss. Feed your fear a suck-it sandwich. For example, I want to write a book, but I can't get myself to sit down and do it. Why not? I'm scared that if I do it, it'll be terrible. What happens if it's terrible? If it's terrible, I'll look stupid. Then what? People will make fun of me. Then what? I'll feel ashamed. Okay, so you're not writing your book in order to protect yourself from feeling stupid and ashamed. Now flip it. How stupid and ashamed will you feel if you don't write your book? Very. I know it's a brilliant idea, and it's a big dream of mine. So will your strategy of not writing it in order to protect yourself from feeling stupid and ashamed protect you from feeling stupid and ashamed? No. And since you're risking feeling stupid and ashamed either way, which version is worse? Trying to write it and having it be terrible, or never going for it and living an unlived life of mediocrity, wimpiness, and shame?
Wow.
Living an unlived life of mediocrity, wimpiness, and shame. Break it down so you can really look at and diffuse what it is about a situation scaring you. Fear is all about how you choose to look at things. So by changing your perspective on it, you can let the fear of not doing the thing you're scared of fuel your quest to greatness. 3. Be in the moment. Is anything scary happening to you right now, at this very moment? Right now, where you're sitting, is anything bad actually happening, or is it just the thoughts in your head that are freaking you out? You deplete the much needed energy you need to kick ass, freaking out before something even happens. Instead, stay in the moment and connect to your higher self. If you're about to walk into a courtroom or jump out of a plane or ask for a raise, breathe into the moment and stay connected to source energy. Keep your frequency high and your belief in miracles strong instead of falling prey to the fears in your mind. And you'll find that not only are you much better equipped to deal with whatever situation it is that you're headed for, but that 9 times out of 10, it's much scarier in your mind than it is in reality. 4. Cut off the stream of crap. Be more conscious of the information you absorb. What blogs do you read? What shows do you watch? What books do you read? What stories do you read in the paper? What movies do you go to? Whose opinion do you ask? What do you focus on in your day-to-day life? This isn't about being in denial or out of touch with what's going on in the world. It's about how much of this information you really need. Are you staring at a car accident, or are you gathering information that will allow you to contribute to positive change? Wallowing in the pain and suffering isn't going to help anyone, yourself included, any more than starving yourself will help the hungry. If you want to help the world and yourself, keep your frequency high and do your work from a place of power and joy. 5. Don't think of anything upsetting in bed at night. Our minds turn into gigantic magnifying glasses that make all our fears 100% bigger when we're lying there as a cat audience at 3 a.m. in bed with nothing to distract us. Unless you're going to get out of bed right then and there and take some sort of action, don't waste your precious time thinking about your problems. Every time you do this, it's never as bad the next morning when you get up. You know this, and yet use your meditative powers to move troubling thoughts out of your mind. Focus on relaxing every single muscle in your body, one by one, slowly and intentionally, so that it takes up all the room in your brain that you were using to freak out with. Breathe deeply and think about all the incredible things in your life. Listen to a guided meditation. Do whatever you can to get a good night's sleep, and then deal with whatever it is in the morning. Because the only thing worse than staying up all night freaking out about something is then being too exhausted the next day to deal with it either. 6. Love yourself, and you will be in Chapter 21, Millions of Mirrors. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt, activist, feminist, superhero, longest serving First Lady of the United States ever. One of the most staggering things about other people is that they provide us with valuable and often alarmingly intimate information about who they are as soon as we meet them. If we pay attention, we can pick up on the major clues they're sending out through body language, their appearance, their lifestyle, their actions, their interests, their words, how they treat their dogs, the waitress, themselves, etc. Some people let it all hang out for everyone to see right away. Others let it seep out in little spurts. I love water skiing. I admire how confident you are about your weight problem. I just got out of prison, etc. With the exception of the sociopath or the skilled pathological liar, the majority of humanity gives us plenty to chew on right out of the gate. All of this information then goes through the filter of who we are, and depending on our perceptions and judgments and hang-ups and number of years spent in therapy, we decide if the person is someone we want to get to know better or not. We're all attracted to, as well as turned off by, various things about other people. And the things that stand out the most to us are the things that remind us the most of ourselves. This is because other people are like mirrors for us. If somebody bugs you, you're projecting onto them something you don't like about yourself. And if you're awesome, back something that you see in yourself that you like.
That's crazy because Eckhart Tolle says the same thing. You know, Eckhart Tolle says the exact same thing. Wow, that's insane. I'm enjoying listening to this book with you guys. This is absolutely insane. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up to anybody who wants to come on and commentate on anything that they've heard today. For a few minutes, we can sit here and chop it up. Please make sure that you smash the like button, gang, and share this on all forms of social media. I think we're putting out messages that, can help people. And that's what I'm about. I'm about helping people. Hey, listen, I went through a mental health for a long time, and I don't wish that on anybody. So I am determined to help other people who may be struggling with, self-help issues and who want areas that they need help in. Hey, I'm here to talk. I'm here to talk it out. I'm here. That's why I'm listening to these audiobooks with you guys. Because if I can help somebody change their life around and change their mental, that's what I believe the universe created me for. So let me go ahead and put the link down in the chat. And that way you guys can hop on for the last few minutes of the show and give your opinions about what you think. Let me get to the link. Lost my. Let's see. Where do we go, y'all? All right. Okay, there's the link. If anybody wants to join the stream and talk about what you heard today and reflect on it. If you have any ideas or any experiences that you've been through that you want to share with anybody that's listening, I welcome you to come up and talk about that. And, we will keep it popping. Let's go ahead and let's go with chill. I want to thank everybody that stopped through today. Markrina Daniels, I see you, sweetie. Thank you so much for coming through. Oodles of Koodles. All right, and it looks like we got Ball Don't Lie podcast coming on up. How art thou, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on, J&J? How you feeling?
I feel good, my brother. I feel good. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? Just maintaining in the midst of work. You know how I do it. Just putting in that work for the people.
Hey, this is becoming a habit. Weren't we just together on the Hornets game last night? How about that win?
Facts. Big win by the Hornets. You know we got that energy, J&J. Had to make the connection and touchdown,
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I'm excited about some of the things that we were just talking about on the Discord. I think that's going to work out.
Exactly. That's what I mean. This new media thing is a movement as a family. We're going to push it to big things and stuff like that as a whole. So I feel like there's a whole team thing, a whole team dynamic, and I love it. You know what I mean? So we grown as a squad. We grown as a squad, J&J. It's big.
I do as well. I believe it. And it's so funny because one of the things that was touched on today was eating the elephant one bite at a time. That's exactly what we're doing with new media. In order to grow this thing, we got to do it one person at a time, one day at a time, 1 month at a time. And before you know it, we will have an organization of creators that is doing things for the people and by the people, just like Rez says. Shout out to King Fuselit.
Shout out to Rev, King Fuse Lit House. You know what I mean? He definitely was holding it down. And I feel like that's all it's about. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can only do what they can do at the end of the day, So I feel like you just gotta take a piece off that elephant, one bite at a time. It's a whole big elephant, but you're gonna be fooled if you try and eat it all at once. You know what I mean? So share a little bit to the fan, let them get a little bit of that elephant too, break it down. The book you was listening to was powerful. I mean, I was listening to some of the tidbits from, and made me want to actually, give it a read, because I feel like I digest stuff better when I read it. But yeah, it was definitely powerful, JJ. I mean, a lot of good messages and gems to take away from that, and you was hitting them right on the head too with it.
Hey, I'm trying, my brother. I'm trying. I with the eyesight thing, I used to be able to go ahead and just pick up a book and start reading a few passages. But, the cool thing I like about audiobooks is you can listen to it while you're doing something else. You don't have to hold a book. So that's one of the reasons I kind of got into audiobooks. And I thought, if this is something I'm doing, sometimes people at work, they might want to throw it on and just listen to it in the background. And you never know, something may be said that'll help that person get through their day. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I'm trying to do.
Exactly. And it make you also want to take a deeper dive into it, because once you hear something you like, you're like, oh, man, I want to listen a little bit more. So, yeah, it's definitely good to get them little, like you said, them audiobooks is always on point. You cleaning, you can hear a little bit with your headphones in or have it playing off the speakers.
I do it all the time.
Right on time.
There is a YouTube channel called SkillGate, and the link will be included in the description of this video, where they actually have a bunch of these no nonsense in your face type audiobooks. They're not blowing smoke at you. They are just straight to the point, giving you really good advice. And the next book that we're going to do is The Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. Oh my God, man, that book is on point. So I'm going to go ahead, and you got anything else you want to add to anything that we're saying here today before I end the stream?
J&J, man, just appreciate what you're doing, to be honest with you, because this ain't something that a lot of people is doing in, our community and stuff like that. So it's really good to just hear somebody in our communities preach this mental health and really, make it, normalize it, you know what I mean? Make it something that's normal for all of us and things like that, because I really feel like it should be something that's part of our everyday lives. So I appreciate you for doing this every day and just having me on your platform for a little bit. Next time, we're going to have to chop it up about the book a lot deeper, you know what I mean? So for sure.
The book of what?
I said we're going to have to chop up the book a lot deeper on the next one.
Oh,
you know
okay.
What I mean?
Oh, most definitely. I know you're at work, so I don't want to, hold you up too long. You know what I'm saying?
No, you good. You good.
I appreciate you coming on the show, my brother. I really do. And I can't wait until we do that next game, because I'm sure it's going to be, who they play next, Mozart?
The Pacers. They got the Pacers up next. So that, that's going to be a good game, because we already beat them. So hopefully, it's going to be a good showing.
We back with the Pacers. It seems like every time I turn around, we playing the Pacers.
Hey, we just got them graphics queued up. We don't have to make up too much new stuff.
Can we get Miles Turner? That's all I'm asking. Can we get Miles Turner? What do we got to give up to get Miles Turner?
Yeah, for real though. For real.
All right,
That's
y'all. Huh?
no, I said for real, JJ. I agree. You know I agree. Don't get me started on Bumbly.
Oh my God, Bumbly, man, Bumbly, Opie, Opie Bumbly.
Opie Bubbly.
Guys, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining. Oh my God, I forgot the name of my own show. Party Over Here. Spell HEAR. Hey, listen, don't forget to like the video on your way out. Share if you care on all forms of social media. And let's keep this thing going. The Cash App also will be in the link of the description. If you have anything, all donations are much appreciated. And spread the word. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. And with that, we are out.
Been listening to the Midday Meltdown Party Over Here with J&J Video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe, and please share if you care on all forms of social media. You can support the content on this channel by donating to the Cash App link that's been provided in the description of this video. Thanks again for listening. Peace and blessings.